Macca's Guides. Hehehe.
Hey guys, Macca here, playing Rory McIlroy PGA Tour. I'm playing it via the EA Access game trial, which lasts 10 hours and has a decent amount of content, including the training, a prologue. You can do a little bit of the US Open training, and you can do a little bit of the Create a Golfer Pro Tour. In this video, I'll be talking about my first impressions of the game after playing it for a couple of hours, as well as some of my thoughts about how the game works, and I'll be talking about the actual gameplay and the game itself. Now, in terms of gameplay, it's a golf game, so you're playing golf. You hit the ball into the hole in as few shots as you can in order to get a lower score than the other golfers, and if you do, you win. Pretty basic. Now, what I'm showing you on screen right here is the first 9 holes of Chambers Bay, which is the training facility before the US Open. For the first hole, I'm going to be using the 3-tap golf shot you see on screen, and then after this hole, for the rest of the 8 holes, I'm going to be using the arcade mode, I believe it's called, where you physically use the left stick to swing forward and back in order to gain your accuracy and your full speed and whatever. I do recommend doing the training if you're new to golf games. Even if you're not new to golf games, the training will really help you. So I do recommend doing the training, as it makes it a lot easier to play the game. Now, how does the game play? What do I think about it? And simply put, the game actually feels really good. Surprisingly good. I was more than pleasantly surprised with the actual look of the game and the actual feel of the game, the gameplay within the game, and the variety that seems to be available in the game. It does seem to all be there, and in terms of golf games, this is really as good as you're going to get. I'm not a golf game veteran by any means. I played very few of the Tiger Woods games, but I have played the Golf Club, which was kind of the last major golf game that has come out in the last couple years, as they did take a few years off of the PGA Tour license. And I think this game is pretty much infinitely better for the actual person who's interested in golf than the Golf Club is. It's much more realistic, but it does have a somewhat easy learning curve for those who are just looking to get into this game. So as someone who doesn't play a lot of golf games, I found myself still having fun without being frustrated, but as I played longer and longer, I grew to learn how the game works, and I got better and better, and it was very rewarding once I did get better. I never at any point got frustrated. If I ever did land in a bunker, I knew it was because of something I did, and that's a great feeling to have in a golf game. That's something I haven't been able to experience via other golf games that I have played. Now, the prologue in the game is kind of very heavy on Rory McIlroy himself as a golfer and what he thinks about golfing and stuff like that. And when I did play that prologue, I was a little bit scared that this game would be too much about golf for someone like me who doesn't really pay attention to the world of golf outside of, I guess, video games and whenever I see some golf on the sports highlights of the night. Now, after that kind of short introduction where they're very heavy on like golf and golf as a lifestyle, which turned me away because, again, golf's not my thing necessarily, it shoots you into some games. You can really quickly tap through all of your shots, and you can get through 9 holes in like 9 minutes if you want to. Absolutely no loading times in between holes, which is actually pretty phenomenal if you ask me. I was able to very quickly go through an entire course of like 18 holes in 20 minutes and not have to, you know, wait every hole for more loading, which is a really cool and really nice kind of feeling as a golf game, so the pace doesn't die down and doesn't get boring.
It's an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a full melody now.
So I just let you guys listen to a couple seconds of commentary via the commentators that are available in the game, as every sports game does have, and I am very happy to say that during my, I don't know, 5 hours of playing, I didn't have any repetition of any commentary. I didn't get annoyed by the commentators, which is a hard thing to say for a lot of other sports games, especially for comparing this game directly to the Golf Club, which did come out earlier this year. The commentary is spot on. Very unique every time you kind of hit a hole. It's not always 100% accurate, and what I mean by that is sometimes I tried to do a bank shot off of a certain part of the fairway or kind of the side of the fairway in order to bank my ball onto the green, and they always predict that shot as a bad shot, and then when it does bank off and land where you wanted it to land, they always seem to have a surprised reaction instead of like a congratulatory reaction. and they always make it seem like you got lucky, even though that might have been something you were planning. So that's the only kind of problem I had with the commentary, and for whatever reason, when I did miss a really easy putt, they weren't really that surprised at all. So that's my only kind of gripe with the commentary. It's very well done, but the cues aren't always spot on, and sometimes they seem to be surprised when you do something you actually want to do, and then they have actually no reaction when you actually do screw up what you were intending to do. And other than that, I mean, the sound, all the sound seems about right. There's not too much music in the game, as a golf game doesn't normally have much, but the actual kind of golf sounds, they sound right. The graphics are very well done, although they take a little bit of getting used to because of how sharpened everything is. The graphics are very pretty, especially when you get some of those really nice vistas in some of the levels you do get to experience in the EA Access early free trial. And I really have no complaints, other than the very small occasional glitch that will happen that you'll have to kind of restart around because of. I personally had a moment where my golfer didn't want to come up to my ball to actually putt it, and I've noticed a problem on the internet about someone whose caddy just stood in front of them. But other than that, I mean, pretty good. This was a huge, pleasant surprise. I was somewhat anticipating this game. I thought it had potential. I hadn't played many golf games in my life leading up to this one, but I knew I do enjoy them when they are pretty simple and rewarding and not frustrating, and this game seems to really, really do that for me. Again, I was a little bit scared that it might be too much about like golf as a sport and not as much about like golf just as kind of like something to do for fun. I was kind of put off by the whole like Rory McIlroy part at the very beginning because I don't really connect to that. But I'm happy to say that the Create a Golfer, you create your own golfer and you just golf. There's also the crazy levels that you can just, that have nothing to do with real world levels, that are just very fantasized and imaginative. And those seem to really add a little bit of that extra depth that some people might be looking for in terms of a video game about golf. And I highly, highly do recommend this game. Again, it's a little bit of a steep price for me as a non-golf fan to pay what they're asking, especially in Canada on the Xbox Live. They're asking like $79.99, which seems like even higher than any other games that EA releases. But either way, I do really like this game. I've really enjoyed it, and I might pick it up. I'm not quite sure yet. I'll have to see kind of my schedule. But if you enjoy golf and you're looking for a game about golf, or you're looking for a good game that's fun about golf itself, not as necessarily the actual sport that is the PGA Tour, but more about just having fun on a golf course, I do really recommend this game from what I've personally experienced so far. Again, this is a first impression, it's not a full review. Hopefully you guys do take those words and dissect them whichever way you do desire and figure out if this game is right for you. Feel free to ask me questions in the comments below, and I'll answer the ones that I can. From here on out, I will leave you guys with in-game audio for the rest of the video. I hope you enjoy my perfect, amazing swings at golf, and I actually do pretty well this entire round, except for the last hole, which I missed like 3 really easy putts in a row. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to like the video if it was helpful, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Well, that's how you play the game right there. Knock it on the green and give yourself a good look at birdie.
It's no snack, though.
Well done. Another birdie, and now 3 under par. Frank, now at the 6th, this appears to be a testing par 4 long one.
It is, but once again, a generous fairway. Just use those mounds down the left as an indicator on your line. Hole bends a little bit to the right. Good tee shot, though, and everything is in front of you.
Frank, that is position A.
Yeah, the tee shot was like silk, Rich. I mean, just sets up that second shot so beautifully.
Frank, getting set for this approach shot, our featured golfer is a player, it's obvious, in full flight right now.
It is. This is where it doesn't matter what the sport is, and golf is a great example for it, though, where when you play your best, it's almost like you're just playing out of your subconscious. Everything happens, it just flows, and you don't really think about it. Oh, this is straight at it.
That's a really good line. Well, can't hide the flagstick from that man. right in it. Frank, this is a daunting challenge. The 7th hole, long par 4. It's over 500 yards.
A huge bunker down the right side that probably runs for a good 200-300 yards. Obviously, that's to be avoided. And then, of course, there's the mounds and the hummocks and the dunes and that on the left side. That's the reason, really, why this hole's called Humpback. But then, a little bit like the golf course, there's only one greenside bunker to be worried about, but enough green left of that.
Well, those are good numbers right there. 320, 320 yards. Just crushed it in the fairway. Frank, the approach here at the 7th, and there's a lot to consider here.
There is. The green at the front is much wider than what it is at the back. It's almost like a tooth or a molar shape. So, you know, that front portion, when the flag's there, definitely a birdie hole. Just got to be a little cautious when they put the flag on the back.
Generate some momentum here at the 7th hole. This for birdie. Frank, this would jumpstart the round. A 3rd straight birdie.
Some good playing.
Well, how about this little move? 5 under par now. 2 straight birdies. Now to the 8th and a long par 5, Frank.
Fortunately, there's no bunkers, just the dunes either side. The hole looks a little narrow off the tee, but get down there, you're going to realize that's a fairly generous fairway. There's a little bit of mounding in this green, too, that actually slopes it back towards the player. So use that to your advantage.
Right out of the center of the bat.
Did you hear that?
Second from an excellent lie. So, 3rd shot now for Rory McIlroy. Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Terrific golf shot. And now, that for an easy birdie. Rory McIlroy looking to take advantage with this putt. That's a birdie for McIlroy. He's just so explosive. Finishing up our front side here at the 9th, it's a par 3. And Frank, how would you describe this hole?
Well, it's an absolute stunner, really, because of the views. And this is where you realize that links golf, minus trees and minus some of the things we see on other golf courses, can still look absolutely beautiful. But don't look at the scenery too much, because you've got, well over 200 yards here. Even though it's elevated, it still requires a good tee shot. But a little 2 here, and you might just have yourself a good outward 9.
Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
Looks like he just misread that. These putts keep the round together. That was a good-looking putt, just not falling right now.
Sadly, he's going to be disappointed.
Hoping to drop only 1 shot. This for bogey. Oh, man.
Just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Settles in over the putt. 4 under on the day.